Hey, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Blake.
And we are Blamey.
I guess so. Today we're talking about I don't know how many number, I was thinking your three pet peeves when it comes to reading. 3 sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
How about you go first?
I think my first one, it goes for reading, it goes for movies, it goes for everything. I hate spoilers. I don't want to know anything that's coming. Like, I'd rather go into a book blind than, read the cover.
Which is interesting because I don't like spoilers, but I do like trailers. Like movie trailers are excellent.
It puts into my brain what people want to be in my brain. I want an open mind going in.
Yeah, to be able to have those same people who put into your brain what they want to be in your brain to be in your brain because of the movie that they're watching.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
makes sense.
To you, reading the back of a book is the same as watching a trailer?
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Do you like to watch?
I mean, in some ways,
I know you like trailers. Do you like to read the back of books?
Yeah, I think they're fine. In some ways, trailers are covers of books are a lot like trailers.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally the picture that
So you're a don't judge the book by the cover, except you totally judge books by the cover.
I'm more of a judge the book by its title. I'm really into titles. That's a good title for me.
All right. So my number one pet peeve is, and it's number one because it's the worst, and also number one because it's the first one I have, is when someone interrupts me when I'm reading. Yeah, and as some 2 little kids, that happens often, mainly from the wife, but not the kids.
What? You just threw me right under the bus.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. Alright, so that was my pet peeve. Nothing's worse than somebody interrupting me as I read.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Damper on things. My number 2 is a bad ending. I'd rather read an okay book all the way across the board, or an okay series all the way across the board. If it's gonna start out great and end poorly, I'm out. I can't stand a bad ending.
That makes sense. So, what happens if it's just okay at the end? Does that ruin the whole thing? Or okay,
no.
If it's bad,
underwhelming.
Bad. Yeah.
No, I don't mind it.
Because there's plenty of book series that start amazing and end meh.
There are a lot.
So those are the ones that annoy you?
Meh.
Or the ones that end really bad?
It's not satisfying, but as long as it's not horrible.
Makes sense. Alright, so my second pet peeve is when I'm reading a book and I don't know it's a series and I get to the end and there's just a whole bunch of stuff that's not resolved. Because I'm completely fine reading series. I love series. I love fantasy series. I mean, Will Time's my favorite set of books, and it's 14 freaking books long. I'm completely fine with that. I just don't almost feels like a bait and switch, where it's they don't advertise it as a series, but hey, to find out more, read the next one. I dislike that.
Has this happened to you often? I feel like it's happened less and less often. Or does it still happen to you? I
mean, it still happens. It still...
I guess recently. There we go.
I'm trying to think if there's a good recent example where I didn't know that it was a series. I feel like BookTube has changed that a little bit because I get a lot of recommendations from BookTube, and because of that, you can't, they kind of talked about it as a series, and you kind of know about it that way. Yeah, there's others that so I did a Six of Crows, right?
Yeah.
Which I knew there was another one, and it definitely isn't here's a cliffhanger and you have to read the next one, but it did have some things where I was just I felt like you could have just addressed a few things, and the world could have been wrapped up, and I don't ever have to go back here again.
Yeah.
But partly I didn't enjoy the world as much as other people did, so that's probably the other thing there is it's not like I want to spend a whole bunch more time there, where there's other series where I'd love to spend more time.
That makes sense.
All right, number 3. What's your third pet peeve?
I'm gonna have to go with grammatical errors.
What?
So I'm no grammar Nazi by any means. I don't know everything there is to know about grammar.
What books are you reading that have grammatical errors?
Lots of books with grammatical errors.
What?
Yeah, he reads too fast. He would never catch anything.
What?
I'm a slow reader.
There's editors and stuff that do this for a living
That's
that go over it.
My big pet peeve.
What books? What was the last book you read that had a grammatical error?
I don't know. I don't know.
What editor can we throw under the bus right now?
I don't know that I caught any in real time.
Yeah, because their editors are awesome.
But here's my thing. If I'm catching those errors, that's saying something.
Maybe you should be the editor.
No.
Yeah.
Not a job I want.
It'd be great. Really? Reading books and catching grammatical errors is not a job you'd take?
It's not just grammatical errors. I'd have to, like, tweak with people's imaginations. I don't like that.
Yeah, interesting.
Maybe I'll get back to you, but I find errors a lot. You're just too speedy that you would never catch them, I guess.
Interesting.
Funny.
I don't know. I don't catch grammatical errors very often, but I tend to read books written by adults and not YA all the time.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Guys, grammatical errors are a thing in books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially when it's written by 13-year-olds.
Stop. No, that's not what YA means.
No, it's not. It's not written by 13-year-olds.
Stop. Okay, what's your third?
That's a good question. I had a third, and it was a good one. So I guess my pet peeve is when I forget the third thing that annoys me when I'm reading. No. You know what I really dislike is the end of books when they'll have the next chapter of the next book at the end of the book.
That's like marketing, though.
Yes, but I dislike it because I start into it, but I never have that other book immediately available to start. So it's a little teaser that I don't get to actually enjoy.
I don't think I've ever read those.
Oh.
I just close the book and move on.
Well, yeah, I read that all of those. I mean, as long as the first book or whatever book it was good, and then move on. Yeah, I know, super unsatisfying, right?
Why would you do that to yourself, though? That's a you thing.
Because
that's not true because they're there.
I want more of the things I'm reading about.
No, that's a good one.
Right?
That's a good one. I also, sometimes it's nice, though, because I think I have this much left of the book, but I'm at the end because there's all this extra stuff. It's like surprise.
I have one more pet peeve, and this is a little bit Brandon Sanderson specific, and he'll probably feel attacked. I'm sorry, Brandon. You're an awesome author, but I hate how you release like one chapter a week as a build up to your new books, because it's just mean. Like it's like giving a starving person a little bite of a Snickers or something, right? Like, I mean, just give me the whole thing.
That's so funny. I just
oh man. And like I know people love it. People love that. Like they love like all this like just metered out thing. And I'm like, oh great. So I have 5 minutes and I finish the chapter, and then I have to wait another week for the next chapter, and then I'm waiting months until the actual book comes out. I mean, I guess I could just not, but the problem is like the conversation around the book starts as soon as people start reading those chapters, and so I don't want it spoiled what happened in those chapters. So I got to read those chapters. And like it's just a very Brandon Sanderson specific pet peeve, and I get why he does it. It's good marketing. People love it. It does cause you to think and talk about the book, but I hate having to think and talk about the book beforehand without having things spoiled.
That makes sense. So I just thought of one, and because of mine, I don't have that problem.
Okay.
I don't like to start a series unless that series is done, finished, complete. Because I don't have a memory there that works really well.
Whatever.
It's true. I have to like reread the first two before I can read the third. Like I forget everything.
Like there's a trade-off here, right? Like you were just complaining about Wheel of Time because it was hard to remember it, and Wheel of Time is a different beast altogether. But also it was like 6 years since you read the last one. Like there's a difference. Now, like if you want to complain about Patrick Rothfuss or George R.R. Martin or any of those that have taken that amount of time between books, like yeah, sure, it's a long time to remember all of that. But like look at like Brandon Sanderson, for example. Like if you're complaining about his series not being done when he finishes a book a year, like I think you remember just fine.
Maybe it takes a minute though, like a few chapters in, being like, who's this character? Where are they at? What's happening?
I mean,
I think I'd rather just, I don't know. If it's a series, I just would rather go back to back and finish it.
So the interesting thing is I think you were probably too young for most of the Harry Potter releases. How long was the gap that you had to wait. When did you read 6? And how long did you have to wait for 7?
But how many times did I read 6 before 7 came
Sure,
out?
you might have, but still, how long
Yeah.
did you wait?
I mean, however long that was.
Yeah, did you have you started reading Harry Potter before the 6th that just died?
Not really.
We'll see if it's still recording. I think it is still recording. Everything just died on us, but now we're back. So you read 6 after 6 came out.
Yeah.
Were you like a release party person for 6?
Totally.
Where did you get 6 at?
Was it Barnes and Noble at the mall? What was in the mall?
Walden Books.
Walden Books. That was 6.
Who did you go get 6 with?
Random. It was Kinsey Thorpe and Lindy McKinley.
Oh, wow. So, unless I'm mistaken, 6 came out on Mark's Eagle Project night. And so we went and did his Eagle Project. And then after that, we went and at about midnight, no, later than midnight, like 2 in the morning to Walden Books and got it. And I didn't sleep and I read all night and finished it.
Okay, so I'm positive what I did is I read it when it came out and I read it a week before 7 came out.
Wow, seems like a good solution for all of these problems. Yeah, you could just read the series and then reread the last book right before the new books come out.
See, that's what I'd rather not do, though.
Why? It sounds great.
Too time consuming. I have way too many books to read.
Yeah, but then you miss out on the awesomeness of the series. And your first pet peeve of things being spoiled, you increase the odds of these things being spoiled for you the longer you let the series go.
I'm really good at going like this. La 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 la.
Wow. All right. So this has been our 10 pet peeves, when you finally get all the way down to it, of things we dislike when we're reading. Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Like and subscribe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.